that. Let me get a test.
Testing. I don't have to talk like in it, right?
No, I could just adjust. You
I
just
can pull it close though.
Yeah, you can pull it
Hello.
close. Yeah, I got you.
Testing.
All right. Let's go for me. 1. All right. So welcome to another episode of Erryting Kool.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
The tourists come over to chill on the beach, but they don't come over the hill where we sleep. We got nightmares and they got fantasies. No sanity, it's just insanity. My mommy hoping nothing happens to me.
We close to 100. We marching slowly closer. But we have another, great grand episode today with a very interesting guest. Y'all ain't gonna believe who it is. I can just reveal it, because obviously y'all getting accustomed to me having the switching board and the mixer on the table. But if you've been through this whole journey with me, I do everything. So introducing this lovely guest on to the left of me. Please introduce yourself, Mom.
Hey everybody, I go by the name of Dia, Princess to the Islands. You know the vibes.
The Princess to the Islands. All right, Dia. I feel like we've known each other for over a decade. I don't know if I wouldn't say no, but it's like we share so much mutual people, and it's like, okay, like I've been aware of you for, well, it's 2013. It's 2023. So it's almost going on like 15 years, because you would have we wouldn't have went to the same high school, but like 2 cousins have graduated with you. And then it's like, because all of us grew up around the same time, it was like, oh, I'd have seen you at this function, at this place and that place. So I know, well, I really, really don't. But tell us, no, before we even go into all of that, we have a tradition on the show. We have, we have the Bayman word, phrase, or saying of the day. And we always give that opportunity to our guests to give us the Bayman word, phrase, or saying of the day. I'm going to give that to you.
A word, phrase, or saying of the day?
Yeah.
See they saying?
See they saying it. Did we have that before?
Huh?
I didn't think we had that before. For the international audience, tell us what exactly that means.
See they saying? I mean, for me, every time I speak and I express myself like in a deep way, I could be talking regularly and just explaining something, and it just automatically is coming out. I just be like, see they saying? Because if I'm explaining like how something gone or a story, or
so it's like you understand.
Like you understand. You see how that go?
Yeah.
You see they saying? You see they saying?
Yeah.
You could say it in so much different ways, You see they saying? You see they saying? You see they saying though? See they saying?
Yeah, like I'm a person that is, I don't feel like I use that a lot, but I know a lot of friends that like when they like rap it to me, like they telling me a situation, see they saying? Da 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 da. See they saying? Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Right?
It's the most overlooked phrase in the Bahamas, I feel like.
It really is, because people use it as sentence fillers, to where it's like, I'm conveying a particular thought, but I'll tell you something and then follow it up with see they saying. It's like, I listening, bro. Like don't mind me doing whatever outside doing. I'm listening and I fully understand it. But it's like, hey, just to make sure. You getting what I'm saying. See they saying. Like,
Yeah.
But I love it. So back to what I was originally saying. So give us a little bit about your origin story. Because I know you from before it's Dia or Dia Train or whatever. But there may be many that doesn't.
How far back?
I mean, let's go back to, I guess, early childhood, growing up in the Bahamas, going to school.
I grew up in Carmichael.
In Carmichael.
Yeah.
You never live in Coral?
No, I never lived in Coral Harbor. I grew up in Carmichael.
Okay.
I grew up in Carmichael. I never lived in Coral. I used to be in Coral Harbor through the high school times. But I was born and raised in Carmichael. I went to Gerald Cash Primary School. When I was a kid, I was like super focused on like schoolwork. Because like when I was young, there was this one time I was like 5 or 6 and I had this friend who like was treating me a type of way and acting a type of way or whatever. And I came home and I was confused as to why, this friend of mine is acting like this.
Hold on, what you mean by that?
Like, like what we talk about now as like adults. Like when we speak about like friends that kind of gaslight you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they are friends, but they still jealous and they have this envious energy.
That don't mean that they really your friend.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But as a kid, I'm thinking this is my friend. So this was happening to me like when I was like 5, 6. So I asked my dad about it and he was like, the type of person that you are, this is going to happen to you throughout your entire life. So you have to like prepare yourself. So that was like a big recognition for me in my childhood. And then I started like focusing on my schoolwork like heavy because I wanted to get a scholarship so I could get out of Gerald Cash and go to a private school and then get another scholarship and go to college so I could get out of the Bahamas and bring something back and make, I had this whole plan from when I was like a kid. Mm-hmm. So that was my childhood. I used to walk home from Gerald Cash, go to the library on the corner. I used to read like a gazillion books a day, walk home, do my homework. I grew up regular right in Carmichael, through McKinney. Mm. There was a lot of stuff going on around where I grew up. But I would say that I grew up. My parents was great parents. I was really close to my dad, really close to my mommy.
Because people would think you grew up with tanks just because they see the final version right now, but they didn't understand. Like,
no, I didn't grow up with tanks. People think that, people think that because I took time to really.
No, but they see the final product.
They see the product, but all of that was like grooming. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you really tick me, you could get a side of me. See, like if you really tick me. But like I said, coming from Gerald Cash, I could have gone, but back then, I don't see nothing. I feel like the government school program is better than private school. But
our parents used to put a stigma on it.
Stigma on, you got to go to private school. So I was so focused. And then I just decided to mold myself and transform. That's when I got into pageantry. That was my first form of transformation. I always was a poet. And I would like write stuff down or I would like be on stage for like spelling bees and stuff like anything I could do to get on stage, speech competition, stuff like that, I would do. Then I got into pageantry in 9th grade. That was my first time.
So what school you was at grade 9?
Oh, I went to QC. I had gotten a scholarship to QC. Actually, no, I didn't get the scholarship. I went there in 7th grade. I was too late for the scholarship entries.
Okay.
And I went there in 7th grade and my dad was like, yeah, we can pay the school fees. So we got there. Wasn't able to pay it. So I had like a bunch of awards and stuff straight through because I was valedictorian in Gerald Cash. I had like a bunch of awards. So my dad, he always used to teach me like people only can tell you no. You know what I mean? So I just took all my awards and I copied them and I put them in this binder. And I set a meeting with all of the heads of QC. At the time, like the principal and the vice principal and stuff. And we had like a whole meeting and I made a proposal as to why they have to find a scholarship for me, like a grant or something, because I wasn't prepared to leave that school. And then I got the grant and that's how I was able to stay at QC.
That's very powerful. So I like getting the early origin stuff because sometimes you realize later on in life where certain energy or certain mentalities come from, then you realize you already had this in you from decades ago. And it's just like, you might have hid it for some years, or you might not have needed certain experiences or certain mentality for a certain amount of time, but then you could pull from your past self, if that makes sense,
Yeah. That's how it was. Granted, I lost a scholarship in the end of 9th grade, I think. I never knew why. They just told me. I had my suspicions and stuff, but I didn't see. You know, and they just told me they couldn't. So I had no idea where the grant was coming from, really and truly. Maybe someone who was paying it couldn't pay it no more at the time. I know. But we still find a way to get it done. People used to call me vacation girl in high school. Because when school fee time come up, I'd go on vacation. You know, call on my teachers, get my homework. My dad, he had a stall downtown. He's a taxi driver at the time. So I used to go in a taxi with him till we make up, pay the school fee, go back to school. And then I graduated. Went to UB. I got a scholarship to UB because I had BGCSEs from like 10th grade. Like I had a lot. Thanks to QC.
Because that's when I entered the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember, like, even though it's sort of fuzzy, but it was like, I know we all used to congregate under the gazebo. But I think before that, because like 12th grade, that's when, because I think me, Craig, and Cadero had a conversation about this last year, where it was like,
gee, I see Cadero and Craig in ages.
They used to be here all the time. But we had a conversation, was like, babe, I sometimes forget you ain't graduated. I was like, yeah, because I used to come around because Chris and Kadeem, and they would be like, I would be with them. And then when you all have your wife, I'll just pop up. And that's how I know everybody. So like, you know, so, and then obviously, you know, in different scenarios, it's like other mutual people and stuff like that. So, you know, but at UB, we was always like the gazebo crew. So it was like, you know, I wasn't as outspoken as I am now back then, but it was like, I just was around.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. But, so UB, because, you know, college is always the transformative years, like to where we really find who we are as individuals. Or, I mean, I don't think it's the completion of that, but more so it's like, we sort of have inkling to where like, okay, I might want to go in this direction. And like, talk about that. Because I know after, well, not really trying to get ahead, but I know for what I was in sort of in tune with home between like 2012 and 2017 because I was abroad during that time. So take me through that process, those years.
The college process?
Yeah.
Well, I went to UB. I had a scholarship to UB. I wasn't really like doing much in UB because even though like I had switched schools, I had friends and stuff like at QC, but most of my friends was like people who I was friends with before QC. Like people who I chill with, you know what I mean? So when I was going to college, like there was a lot of transformations for me like during that year because when I was younger coming into high school, like I'd get teased for like, you know what I mean? Like catching the bus or like, I remember one time when y'all asked me if I can get rape text in the bus. You know, I ain't grade 7. I come with all these dreams, I think, and you know, so that was strange to me. And then I didn't have the things that the other people at the school had. So like, my dad used to take me shopping and thing. Like if it was a dance or something, but we used to go Macamax and Solomon's. He saying the time I go my best life. Right now. I still shop in Macamax. My mama, I shop in Macamax. Like, and I go to the tailor.
I always say like it ain't about what you're buying, is how you wear it.
It's how you put that on.
Yeah, like, you know.
Let me tell you something. That was the changing point for me in college because back then, you know, I young and I vulnerable. So I used to not care, but deep down inside, you still care.
Yeah.
But when I got to like college time and I started to realize how like actually stupid it was. Like I always thought it was stupid, but then I started to realize how actually stupid it was because in college, I was working downtown with my people. I was coming to class and thing, but I wasn't really like, I was focused on trying to make some money for real. Because I know you used to see me hanging up in the sub.
Yeah.
By the domino table.
Yeah.
I used to like duck. Like I just wasn't on that run. Like I was.
What you was even studying?
I went to school to study law. But see, like when I was young and I was so smart, everybody used to tell me you should be a lawyer. So I hadn't really I hadn't really opened up the fact that I'm an actual artist yet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I doing these things, but I actually want to be here. Like, I'm smart as hell, but I have a creative side. And when you creative, you just want to be dumb sometimes. Like, you don't be on that conformant. Like,
conforming.
Yeah. Like, I don't be into that sometimes. So when I got older, college was like that for me. So that wasn't working out. And boy, come on, mash up one night. I was doing good in school or whatever. I was doing good though. But I come on mash up or whatever. And my dad was like, oh, you know, Bahama about to open. You know what you need to do. You need to go apply for that Chinese government scholarship and go to China and come back and translate. And then you could be making money for real. You know? So I then let the law go because I wasn't on that run. The math was irritating me, honestly. I want to do it because I want to do it. I had gotten over the fact of somebody, like, you know. So I was focused on going to China. My dad was like, you'd be really successful, blah, blah. We applied. We got the full scholarship. I lost a lot of friends during that period. And
such is life.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people dropped. Because, like, people used to, like, tease me for like going to China. And it's like, girl, like going to China? Like, what you mean? Like, oh the hell. That's all that really mattered to me. And I didn't get a full scholarship in the States. So
you was in the States?
No, I didn't get a full scholarship.
Okay.
I applied, but I didn't get a full one.
Okay.
But we was incapable of paying partial. So it's like, I got a full scholarship, stipend, everything. I'm like, bro, this opportunity a lifetime.
Because I think, you know, it only matters when, because I always implore everybody to get away from where you grew up for a time so you could broaden your perspective. So then if you choose to come back, you look at things in a whole different way. You like, oh, okay, I see the plus, I see the minus. And it's like, okay, I know how to move now because, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Welcome to Erryting Kool, where the most random things has happened.
Boy.
But there's been times where lizards have crawled on this, not on this set, but in other situations. Or like someone shouting out from outside or some weird thing.
Listen. Let me, okay, it's on silent now.
Oh man, no, you good.
I had an answer, but I say, you know.
So you went to China. So how was China? Because I've had different people tell me, but no, I have always heard good things about people doing school in China. It was like a wave at that time. I don't know if that's still going on today, but I think, like, I guess between 2014 and 2017, there was a lot of Bahamians that went off to China to go to school or finish school. And, you know.
China, when I went to China, it wasn't no Bahamians there. So no Bahamians, where I was at least. There was probably about 6 of us that went on the Chinese government scholarship. I went to Wuhan. So when I went to Wuhan, I was the only Bahamian there. And it was like it was a city that was just growing at the time. So there was people from all over the world. I was the only Bahamian. There was probably like 2 Americans. And then, because I went in 2011.
Okay.
So everybody that started coming, they started coming out of nowhere because there was a wave going on when I think Dunbar, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Had Mr. Dunbar had open ways for Bahamians to go down there self-paid. See, the ones that when we went, it was just Chinese government, because the Chinese government have that scholarship in all countries around the world. So when you go to college on the scholarship, you stay in dorms with everybody that's on the scholarship. And there's people from like all over the world. So I was the only Bahamian in my dorm. But after the self-paid stuff started opening up, then it was like a big wave.
That's what I know, because it was like nowadays you'd be like, oh, I went to school in China. I know a couple of my friends, some of my colleagues I work with, I know Relish from Relish Socks. Like him and his wife met in China. So it was like this whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is, I'm surprised more people don't talk about or sort of document the Bahamians that went to China and come back.
Because let me tell you something. When you go to China, life life, it's like you have a different home. It's almost like a different universe. Because you only come home probably, if you got money, you coming home once a year. I mean, more than once a year. But if you like chilling, you might never come home probably every 3 years. Or you might come home once a summer for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Then you back in China. It's a completely different culture, completely different world. So I think people, like, I speaking for myself, I forget to even like share them things because it was so amazing. It's like the experience really, I don't think I would have been able to expand on myself as an artist or even like, you know what I mean, be able to capture certain elements of culture in my music without that experience. Because I was friends with like, had African friends, Zambia, Kenya, Sudan, Madagascar, Arabia, like Samoa. Like it's just so much different. When you have talent shows at school, like imagine Korea coming and doing K-pop, like, you know, like, so it's so much different influence. And I feel like when people go to China, like, it's a completely different lifestyle, especially as a student. It's a lifestyle. Like you be partying, going to class, parties going on every night. Like the system, even if you have like, it's just a whole different world, a whole different community. And sometimes you forget to tap in with home. Yeah. Because it's so far away. And the time zone too.
Yeah, because it's like 7 hours.
12 hours.
12 hours.
So when you party and your people sleeping, so imagine you trying to balance a long distance relationship in China and the Western world. It's impossible.
You was trying to do that?
Not me.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
No, sir. Child, thank God. Thank God my relationship went south like 2 weeks before I went to China because I had to break somebody's heart.
Yeah, because it's like, but that wouldn't even make sense at the time because it's like you all the way 12 hours ahead. You in a whole different country. And then you barely coming back home. Like,
and then talking is difficult because when they chilling at 8 o'clock, you in class.
Yeah, unless you have an open relationship type of situation. But yeah, that's a story for another day.
That's not my type of party. For the record, that's not my type of party.
So tell me about what year you came back home?
I came back home in 2011. I came back home for like 4 months. Because I didn't get my diploma yet. 2016, and then I left for another 6 months, came back 2017.
I just want to get your take on this. I am realizing that 2017 was a very magical year in the country.
Really?
Yeah, because I came back home short, like December 2016 going to 2017. And I feel like a lot of the new businesses that we see now, like everybody was like on their entrepreneurial type tip 2017 and the grants and this flowing and rediscovering. And it was like the artistry boom. And there was like this whole new wave of entrepreneurs and artists and new faces. Like,
that's true.
Like when you think about it, 2017 was a magical year in retrospect.
That's when spoken word started to emerge.
Yeah, that's when the first time I saw you, and I didn't even know you was a spoken word artist.
I didn't know I was a spoken word artist. I used to perform. Michael Pintow was my favorite poet when I was in high school, and from when I was a kid, I used to represent the school at the National Arts Festival. I was just good at it. And then in high school, I took it seriously because my dad trained me in like memory honors, which is like I don't recite anything that I do. It always have to be, even speeches and stuff, I'd have to memorize how to say it, to start and do it over and over all night until I get it. And that, I was just good at it. Then in high school, I started doing it. So when I came back, I met D'Angelo, Harsh Reality. I met him when I was...
That's when he did the Miscellaneous tour?
No, this was before that.
This was before the Miscellaneous.
This was before Miscellaneous. I met D'Angelo. I was interested in politics at the time. So I think I met D'Angelo when I was helping out with a campaign because I had been interested in being groomed to run and stuff like that because I always wanted to do something to change things. So I could either be this way or I could be that way. But
by the way, what you had studied in China?
I studied Mandarin.
No, so that was the only degree as you got, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just basically, I'm just like...
Chinese language.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had opened up a translation company, stuff like that. Yeah. And then that didn't work out because it wasn't making enough money. People wasn't like trying to hire this young girl. And I was always interested in business. I probably worked a job like 4 months in my life. So I was always like, okay, if this ain't my girl. That's how I ended up in construction.
Because that's why I saw, why the spoken word surprised me, because I remember seeing at the time you was sort of doing a lot of project management and getting into that
trade.
field.
I was doing that. But D'Angelo, that's what I was speaking about. D'Angelo actually, I told him that I used to recite poems, and he was like, why don't you recite your own poems? And then he invited me out. I started reciting my own poems. I got obsessed with it, started practicing it. And then I had a friend that was living with me at the time. And she, I used to do all these different voices and stuff, like Get Off. You know, I have my little African voice, my little American voice. And I used to give them characters. And she's like, oh, why you don't go rap? And I started looking into music then in 2018. And then I realized, okay, the poetry was one step. I was supposed to be like a music artist. Yeah. And then we got here.
So because obviously getting into rapping is like, reciting poetry, with different rhyme schemes, different rhythm, different patterns, getting into different pockets. Like, what made you say, wait, I can try this rap thing? Was it more so after like going on different tours for the spoken word and saying, okay, I know how to galvanize a crowd, or what exactly?
No, I always was good at catching people with poetry because I would recite other people's poetry and people would like leave in tears. So I was always like really good at stage, but I didn't know anything about music because I didn't grow up with no much, so I ain't had no phone, iPod. I got my first phone in China, so I had like no exposure.
So you never had a cell phone? Wait, hold on. So you didn't have a cell phone until you went to China?
Until I went to China, and it was a flip. It was a pink flip. That's how green I was, the phone. It was like this pink Hello Kitty flip. That was my first ever phone. Any other phone that I used, it was one that I borrowed from my dad. And it was like a snake one in the case that he had to like pick me up or something. Like the little Nokia one with the snake.
with the indestructible ones. Okay. So what was the day when you decided, yo, I'm gonna start rapping and recording music?
It's so funny, bro. It's so funny because I was like a little caterpillar in this Western world. I just come back. I didn't know nothing but Instagram, body done, none of this. Lace front, nothing. I didn't know nothing but none of that. I joined Instagram. I started watching Cardi B. Cardi B didn't blow up yet. Yeah, City Girls didn't blow up yet.
I actually have been watching Cardi B from literally 2014 when she used to be like, I like stripping. I'm a strip forever. And I'm gonna be laying in. I like that. And I'm about that like people just knowing about Cardi B when Bodak Yellow came around, but I was on Cardi B from like 2 years before she blew up. When she used to make the different, and then she used to be with Cash Flow Harlem, just making different not TikToks, Vines and stuff like that. Yeah,
I didn't know her from back then.
No, I knew her from that. Even before she was on Love and Hip Hop, I was aware of her before even then. So
Cardi, you got that?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you saw Cardi.
Yeah, I was like, because when I left, people was like, I never saw the point in why people discriminate against strippers and stuff. But you know what I mean? So I left Nassau, and the people was making you feel bad for me in the stripper when I left. That's 2011. I come back. This woman done changed the whole stigma and completely blow. Like, I started seeing her like right before she blew. So I basically study her story and stuff because I used to get obsessed with like artist stories. So Cardi B was the first artist that I looked into, and I was like, whoa, this woman So Madame that changed the world with changing that type of stigma and putting that type of respect on a industry that people didn't put respect on at one point.
But I think with her, people love the story because, again, like I said, I knew Cardi before she came on Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop she did it for 2 seasons, and that was its own era. And then, like, after the second season she was on it, that's when she blew with Bodak Yellow. But I'm like, I knew her.
Because her authenticity, it's really not just Bodak Yellow because she has so much followers before Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
It's like her authenticity. She brought to light that, listen, y'all might discriminate, but we got stories too.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it was like...
And then she was, she had the charisma and the personality.
Yeah,
and she
it was just
funny.
so much, you know what I mean? She maximized.
So that's why they brought her on the show. And then on the show, she was even funnier. So like you put a camera on it and it's like, it's just still going up. So when the music hit,
then it's like, boom, superstar.
Yeah. So it's like, it was easy. Like,
yeah.
Because it was this building fine base. But
she had put together so much pieces.
Yeah.
So by the time, I get what you're saying.
Because, see, when the music came, you already had the support. You had 5 years of support already. So you have a hit.
Yeah.
The label don't gotta push it. Like we just gotta put the ad dollars behind it to put it on bigger platforms. But you already had the movement before. That's why they saw it. You know? And then Cardi B only had 1 album, but she still saw the scene like the big acts that have multiple albums. So, that's where that comes from.
That's true.
Yeah. So you saw Cardi B and then you started formulating your brand, you putting it together.
No, I wasn't even there yet. I just thought it was so cool. I was so fascinated with it. And then one day just spitting in the house, I wasn't good at it. And my friend was like, you need to practice. And I was like, babe, I think I can rap. I was sitting with it for like 3-4 days. I was like, babe, I can rap, babe. And I know it was so far-fetched because people see me doing business. They see me doing this, see me doing that.
Yeah, because I like in retrospect, I was like, okay, this is new. But see, I ain't against people somewhat not reintroducing themselves, recreating themselves, like, because I've done it multiple times in my life. Like, okay, switch directions on how I want to do things, express myself. Because we only get one life to live.
You see they say.
So it's like, if I can recreate myself, I can do it a bunch of times and it can be a bunch of times more. Because it's like, I might get inspired and want to go in this direction or whatever. And sometimes people might feel like you getting
what
this.
she doing? Yeah. You're supposed to be over here. Don't tell me where you're supposed to be, nigga, on the phone.
Or you neglecting responsibilities or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be like, I just decided one day and I went to see my little brother and I was like, bro, I can rap. And he was like, you want to be like Nicki Minaj? You won't be like Cardi B? And I was like, I won't be like it's Tia. And he's like, all right, let's ride. And from that day, I just study music. I study how to make it. I study how to write it. I study what I needed to get it done. And basically built it like as if it was a business. I started looking for a team. I started like pushing myself really hard because I didn't drop music when I first started music. I dropped music a year after. Like I was like, wait, I know people can be like, where this girl think she coming from? So I come in hot.
I was saying, because at the time in the 90s before you came, I like ran through your catalog real quick and I was like, she really sounded super polished when by the time you started putting out music videos and things like that.
I practiced and I studied, like I was obsessed with it. And I was like, I gonna do my first one in LA because see me, I know like when you in an industry, bro, every industry, when you come in it, you gotta earn your respect. Just like when I was in the translation game, earning respect, but that was a little difficult because I was so young. I was doing trade at the time. So trying to get people to trust you with their money at that time, back then, it was difficult. So I switched over and in construction, I had to earn my respect in this because people will run around you, especially being a female, they'll run circles around you. So with music, it was the same thing. Like you can't go to college and skip class and think you can graduate. So like I felt like when I come out, it gotta be quality, it gotta be hard, it gotta hit big, it gotta be big budget because I want people to know that It's Dia has arrived. And it could be crazy, you know. So.
Okay, so what was the first song that you ever created to where you feel like, I think I got something?
Ego. I really thought that song was gonna blow. It's my first song. It's like your ego trying to get the jump on me. I am the epitome of pedigree. I had just met Keith, and I was determined to make Keith my producer. But I was like, babe, it's got to be my producer. So we made that.
Which year this was?
This was like 2000.
This 18, 19?
I met Keith end of 2018 around there. We actually just was counting the years 2 days ago. That's crazy. It's been like 6 years. I met him around end of 2018. And I was already listening to his music though. Like 2008, 2019, between that time, like first quarter of 2000, somewhere around there. And I was already listening to his beats, and I did like his beats. So I was like, wait, this gotta be my producer. But I didn't know he was Bahamian. And then one of the rappers who I used to go to the studio with at the time, he was like, oh, I guess you would link up with Keaton. I was so excited. I was like, what? I thought he's English, you know? True, I thought he's from England because I wasn't big on social media. So he had an English flag in his thing. So I'm thinking he's English. I don't know about all these different things people is doing on social media because I'm new to Instagram at this time. I don't know nothing about the culture.
The marketing and the social media.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So I met him and then we did Ego and I was like, bro, we're in LA to shoot this, ... And I was like, because I was like, wait, if I build a team, I got to make sure these people know I'm serious and I have a responsibility to be something to believe in, you know what I mean? People ain't just take their time out and put time into your craft or be available when you need them to, if you don't inspire them. So I just always felt like I have a responsibility to push, like, to another level.
Let's talk about music business. Because what I was thoroughly impressed with, and, you know, I've talked to many, I've been around, well, I am a music artist, but I've been around music artists for a little over a decade now to see, like, how much it takes to build a brand. And, you know, everybody wants to get signed because it makes that process easier. But, you know, in the last decade, everybody say, you know, you might as well build it yourself to where you can own it 100%. And, you know, a lot of times people just give up because they realize it costs a lot. You're paying for it yourself, whether it be between studio time, you know, you have a branding manager, you have a talent manager, you have a business manager, you have a booking agent, you got to pay for music videos, and that costs a whole lot. Then when you want to pay for features, and nobody always doing it for free, so you got to pay for the feature as well as for them to come on your video, and then it's wardrobe, it's locations, it's all the production. So those fees add up. Take me through the process and how you dealt with all of that.
Bruh, I feel like music is something I just always knew I wanted. When I decided I wanted it, I wanted it. And from the first moment I put time into something, there'll always be like a time where there's a decision or whether we can keep going or we can stop. Once you pass that first opportunity to ask yourself, that means you've invested enough time, enough money to say, really question, am I doing this full-fledged or not? Because you've hit that mark as to whether it's time to dead the investment or continue the investment. And I never had that moment with music. I'll have that moment with hustles. Stuff where I say I go, you know, I might start selling lashes here. Then it might come and I realize, okay, girls don't really like me that much. So let me sell the lashes wholesale to makeup artists instead. Because I ain't really a social person.
You know being a social person?
I'm not social. I'm not social at all. I'm very, very socially awkward.
After we get up through this pause, I can bring up another moment that you was involved with that sticks in my mind until the story. Okay, wait. So, but then when it comes to the business, it's like...
It's expensive, bro.
I know. That's why I'm trying to figure out how... That's why I'm asking now, how you pull it off?
I just hustle.
Because you have plenty of videos of just remixes of other people's songs that you have full production for. And things like that. And then you obviously, how your brand is very curated. Mm-hmm. And how you speaking now, you sound like you have a team that helps you with that. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, some of the other moves that you made too, when you had Cha-Ching Ching and Charlie Black's on features, and then you have music videos around the world. I'm like,
well, when I first started, honestly, I like with the money, as a hustler, if I need to get something done, even if it run me to zero, I know by 2 days later I probably can get up again. Mm-hmm. Then I'm gonna go put it into what I want to put it into. I could have done a lot of different things with my money, but I really, really want to be like a superstar, blow your mind artist. And you can't be that. If you do something, you got to go full-fledged. I can't be that without a brand. I can't be that without like making sure I up to par. I can't be that without getting up every day, working out. I can't be that without making sure my mind 100 going to work and my mind ain't 100 unless I'm making money. So if I'm making money, and then I could be miserable because I can't do what I want to do with my music or with life or with my family and stuff like that. So I just do what I have to do so I could get it done. Like when I got the job at Bahama, I went there after the translation thing because it wasn't making no money, but I just went there to pay my rent for real. So I had started moving into the construction because my dad taught me construction from a child, and he had a company, but he was going to stop. So I just was like, let me rebrand this and see, what the corporate, because he used to do a lot of government work. So let me see what the luxury market can say. And then I just did it. I got my first contract after like 4 months at Bahama, and I left. And they was trying to bring me back, and I couldn't do it. And even when I started music, I was like, I'm very serious like about my image. And I want to be able to like really be able to do what I have to do. So when I started music, I knew that when I work out, because I was working out for a long time, and I know I had stubborn areas. I going to get lipo. This time I didn't know nothing but lipo.
Hold on, you had the laser lipo, you got the suction?
No, I had surgery in 2018 because I used to have some stubborn fat on my back. And I'd work out, and it wouldn't go anywhere. But I didn't know plastic surgery was simple as that. You see they saying because I was in China, I didn't know like I was in a different universe. That's why I tell you China is a different type of thing. Unless you keeping in touch. And I'm not a person good at keeping in touch. All my friends know that. Like if we ain't right in each other's face, I can get caught up in like the action of things, and I be working. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm a very distant individual, like at points. So I didn't know nothing about this life. But once I realized it was possible, I was like, I gotta get lipo. I didn't get no BBL because
that's what I was gonna access. Like, man, you might as well get you.
No, I want nothing like that. I just wanted to get rid of that stubborn fat, bro. It was annoying. I used to run the hills in China, ride bike, do all type of stuff. I didn't know it was that simple. I was like, wait, what?
With the weight loss thing, is it just adjustments in diet, or you have to experiment with your diet a lot? But a lot of people just be like, why don't you just get this suck out?
No, bro. I tried so much different things. People would tell you. All my friends could tell you. And the thing is, I couldn't like enjoy a burger like regular people. I'd have to be like on the strictest diet to stay within like, damn near hungry, bro. Just because I had stubborn fat cells in certain areas. So I got like on my arms, my back, and my stomach. And from then it was like, I never overgrew in those areas.
I'm happy that you willing to give up these things, the life of a superstar. So after that, I guess you gain confidence and like showing off your body a little bit more.
Not really that. I just want to be able to. I was always a confident person, like very confident, but I want to be able to look 100. If you catch me on a stage, somebody catch me at an off guard thing, I just want to look perfect. Like I don't know. I don't know why people make it like such a big deal. Like, I feel like if you had surgery, you had surgery.
I mean, it's so commonplace now. It's like
it's an investment.
I always tell my brother, but I was like, I never thought I would be in a day where a regular old me would have to figure out how I can deal with a gal who get a BBL. Because you think only celebrities can get something like that, but it's like, no, these kind of cosmetic surgeries have become so accessible to the average person. It's like, yeah, I know how to deal.
Sometimes I think some things be a little too much. You know, me, I only did it to go control my fat. I just want to look little, I just want to look, I like to look little slim, thick type of look. That's my type of look. But, I know BBL though. I couldn't deal with that. They had too much scary stuff after I read about it.
Yeah, because the quickest way to pop as a female artist is you got that body already. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, body is important. like ain't nobody can make it seem like body's not important. I feel like you could love your body, you could have whatever type of body, and that's great because once you brand yourself or you want to brand yourself, you know what I mean? You do what you got to do. Yeah. But the image is important. And if I feel like for me to feel my most popping self, yeah.
You got that slim thick on.
Yeah, and I did that before I even laid my first track. I just was like, bro, I gonna do music. Listen, let me just knock this out one time. Get in the studio, boom, boom, boom. Because, label could come make me do nothing. I do what I want to do.
All right. So tell me how you went about, like, sort of getting collaborations by international artists.
The first collaboration was East Atlanta, Montana. I did a song with him. Mm-hmm. I just reach out on Instagram. I'd see people I like, and I'd reach out to them. How much for the feature? Pay the feature. Sometimes I might not be up to pay the feature, so I'll sell something and pay the feature. And then I get the song. But I had my team. Like, it ain't really just about the money. I wanted to add that too. Getting these things, like, I have my team. My team, like, they know how hard I was pushing, and they know, like, certain things I'll invest. So most times, ask me for nothing. You know what I mean? Especially back then, like, I started off sitting on floor writing. He used to let me come there.
This Universal Flow?
Universal Flow.
Okay.
That's like my dog. That's my big brother. Like, I used to come there. I didn't know nothing but music. And I used to sit on his floor and write. I have my beats. And then after everybody go, I used to be like, Flo, you can record me, please. And then he'd be like, Dia, I'm tired, but I can do it. What you got? And then we'll record it. And yeah, so these people in like people who, these real family, bro, like they really supported my music journey. They was always there for me, never stressed me for a dime. Like, I ain't no check to these people. Like, they really believed in me, and like, they still believe in me to this day until we get exactly where we want to be. So yeah, with the international features, once we was able to get the feature, we all get in the studio, we record, we make sure the song 100. When I got the feature with Keisha Day, it was COVID time. I sent my car for that feature. And then I saved, and everybody else saved. We all went to Atlanta, shot the video, met Keisha Day, had a good time. Then the feature with Charlie Black, that came out of nowhere. We didn't even look for that. We didn't look for that at all, because I had just invested in, this guy had hit me up, telling me I was going to be able to get an EP with Famous Dax, had I paid this amount or whatever. Everything seemed legit or whatever. Still to this day, don't know if it's legit, but I say when I blow, I can find out if it's legit for real. But yeah, but I suppose then I'd lost a big bag on that. Big bag. So it was a lot to get that. So my brother died. And I had a job going on at the time, a big renovation, and I had a few Jamaican guys that was working there.
So you also, during this whole time, do you create the construction side still thriving?
Yeah, the construction has to, or the corral does.
Okay.
Yeah, I support myself off the hustles, but my construction company is just an actual company, and I wouldn't be able to pay for my music.
Because people always wonder, okay, you know, the question is like, how do I fund my music career or any other side hustle? Would you trying to make your main hustle, but then you need a main hustle to support yourself?
To support the side hustle, because you have to invest in side hustles. Side hustles will be small licks stuff, but if you find ways to make a large amount of money, then you can take pieces of that money and probably buy something small, flip it, or probably get some stuff that you could sell on the side that keeps making money. It's a lot of different ways you could flip it. Of course, the whole time it ain't gonna be great, because if you really like how I really love my music, I burst bag on my music, bro. Like, you know, and sometimes seasons get low, like COVID season, things that changed. And
because what I noticed, because like I was saying earlier, with the whole part of the branding is people seeing that you're in different parts of the world with different aesthetics, and with, you know, a company when people would be willing to invest into you when they see you highly investing in yourself.
Yeah,
so
when you
like,
push.
But I do this on my own. So when you come to me, when you got a deal, it got to be bigger than what
It got to be bigger what I could provide for
Yeah.
myself. Because if I could back a song, I don't see what I signing you for. Like, you got to be able to give me like way more than that. Because, yeah.
So the Charlie Black, so Jamaicans on your...
Yeah, the Charlie Black. There was some Jamaicans that was working for me. And he had heard one of my other guys playing my music. And he was playing song. He's like, "Baby, who that is?" Da, 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 da. And in the Jamaican way, he asked him, of course. Yeah. And he was like, "That's boss lady, babe." He said, "You lie, you lie." So call me from upstairs. They come downstairs. I said, "What's up?" He said, "You know, send me a rap." You know, his name was Bretta. I haven't seen him in a bit though, but he was like, "Yo, you should send this music to Jamaica. You get it on the radio." I was like, at this time, I didn't going through a lot because the whole situation where I had lost the funds with the rap features. Yeah. And so I trying to get my money up at this point. So he was like, "Oh, you could send the song." So he sent it to Jamaica and we tried it out, but I wasn't putting too much muscle behind it because I didn't.
Yeah, because it was in around this time you had signed to like I guess a branding agency or booking.
No, I wasn't signed. You mean the AGA?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't signed. That's hired on marketing.
Okay. Yeah, it was. I know it's some marketing type of.
Yeah, it's a marketing agency, and I hired them.
Okay.
And then you become a part of their artists, and they advertise you through the platforms that they have available. But it's paid. Okay. Yeah, and so anyway, they send the songs. The songs played on the radio, and then my brother died, and I wasn't really like interested in music like that no more. Like I was interested, but I was only making music about him. So I wasn't sure at this point what my purpose was in life, whether it was, justice or if it was music and justice, or, and at this point I'm fled. So I'm like, bro, let me go start with NPO, start helping some people, you know what I mean? Because this could happen to anybody. And that was my mindset at that point. I thought music was done for me because I was like, how can I invest in this? And this is going on. You know what I mean? So I was at a crossroads and then I got the call. I was actually going to work. No, I wasn't going to work. I was home. I was eating Wendy's. And they called me because I didn't start eating again, but not wait. I was dropping stuff. You seeing it from there because I was trying to hold on, but I was about to go cold turkey, bro, cold turkey. And they called me and they was like, it's a guy Biggs on the phone with my current manager, Crab of Genius. And he was like, they have this song for me to jump on Sunday to Sunday and they sent it to me. So this time I'm like, what the hell? I fold up my little sandwich. I say, okay, bet we can do this tonight. I call the whole team. I say, y'all, we got to get to the studio. They just called for a feature with Charlie Blacks, and we need to get in the studio tonight because we need to show people we ain't joking. We send these verses tomorrow. So all us link up. We go into the studio. We work on the verses. We send them 3 verses. And they had just put, because it only had 12 bars initially open for me. Mm. And then when they heard the 3 verses, they sent it a certain way with 1 verse. And I called back. I didn't like it that much. So I was like, what if we just put this part, give it a little more life, like spread out my verses. And then the 3 of the verses ended up making the track, and then the track dropped, and all this happened in 3 months. It's just gone. They say come to Jamaica, shoot a video. The whole team, we went to Jamaica. We shot the video and dropped the song. The song gone crazy. And that was that. Mm. Then I moved into a different genre that I had to accept.
So what genre? By the way, who are the members of your team currently? Yeah.
All right. So we have Keith Science, Universal Flow, Shavado Smith, Rihanna Sims, Reese Burrows, Crabber Genius, Anthony Smith, Reno the camera guy, Reagan from 6'7" Multimedia, Shakita and Dina from Prim and Pretty, the hair plug Steph, she's my lace girl. I've worked closely as well with makeup artists, Yoles and Clyde. I consider like everyone a part of the team, because sometimes I would have I have a horrible schedule. So even with glam, people show up. Like they'll take me at 5 a.m. in the morning. So Petra, she's my lash girl. She would take me like 5 o'clock if I have a video. She should take me any time of the day if I call her. Then there's Tom. He's my videographer. One of my videographers. There's actually 4 on the team. Tom's from England. And then Sharon, she is one of my stylists. Okay. So it's a pretty big team. Looking for a DJ though. Oh, Jamie, she's my dancer.
Okay. So the call came through, the record blew out. So what made you get into more of a poppier genre? Because how do you feel about genres more becoming amalgamated to where they're more moods than actual distinct genres?
I don't know. I was having a little time with distinguishing that same question. Like, how do I,
Because I think music becoming so blended.
Yeah.
Especially one of my favorite genres right now is Afro beats, but then you hear like a Burna Boy mix 90s R&B with that same bounce, and it's all it's still Afro beats, but then it's still this era in the R&B. So it's it's more like vibey than genre. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, okay, I want to be in an up-tempo mood, down-tempo, chill type of mood, the rest type of more happy. What kind of emotional spectrum I'm trying to be, almost.
I think that be considered I think it of a genre, because I actually learned the genre when I did Sunday to Sunday.
Okay.
And it's actually the international genre. It's actually existed way before it became popular now. And I think that is crazy that it actually becoming one of the most popular styles of music at the time that I blew during the era, which is great. So it's almost like if you think about songs like Come Mr. DJ Stomp on the Night, all of that is international style music. Like even Charlie Black song that goes on Party Animal. Like it's not dancehall and it's not Afro and it's not soca, but everybody just loves it. You know what I mean?
But I'm glad you brought up those two because the Party Animal record came out like 2013, 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And then Come As the DJ is like 04, 05.
But it was only so many of those tracks that were getting the recognition. So even like you have the song that has Julian Reed in it. The one that goes, Budubai, 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 it's up. Like that's international because it switches.
So Akon's song, I think Soul Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
When you were saying that, so is it international genre? Okay, so when you see, I guess you're gonna be sort of going into more of making this sort of music, or
like right now, I'm working on a tape. It's gonna be dropping the end of September. It's called Princess of the Islands, and I call it that because the Princess of the Islands, like when I think about it in my head, is a sound that kind of came out of nowhere, if you know what I mean. So I'm still a rapper. I don't know if people get disappointed because people just be asking me when you dropping rap music. But I feel like this sound, through the rap, I got the opportunity with the Sunday song. And then the sound was born and the sound went crazy. You know, and people loved the sound. I followed it up with All Night. All Night went crazy. That skyrocketed, which created a loophole for my rap music to then skyrocket. And then Low Mileage with Renee 630, that also charted on multiple charts in Apple. TikTok Damages, crazy. Anytime, crazy. Everything that I've dropped in the international genre has hit charts. So the Princess of the Islands to me is kind of a sound that just birthed itself. It wasn't nothing deliberate. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing deliberate. So I feel like I've been battling a lot as an artist as to whether I want to be a rapper or I want to be the Princess of the Islands.
But you could do both because, like I say, music is becoming so blended. It's like you could go in and out. And I think like artists like Drake, for instance, because when he put an album, you pull in from dancehall, you pull in from UK grime, you pull in from Afrobeat, you pull in from this to where it gets to a point to where I just want to make music. However I feel, I just want to put out. Mm-hmm. So it don't matter what genre I stick in. I'ma just, even then when he put out the house music album, and I love that album. I know others who I know don't like it, but it's like, bro, I love that. Because sometimes I be in that mood and I hate going to parties where it's just one genre. I don't care what genre. You mix DJ, I like to put it in. DJs, mix up the genres. I don't want to hear just one genre. Give me all the genres. I want to get on a roller coaster, like, you know, through different vibes.
That's true.
Like, so, and that's why I say I think music going to more mood-based than genre-based.
Than just genre-based.
Yes, because it's like, you're going to pull elements. Everybody's pulling elements from different things. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's almost going to be in one sort of gumbo, like they like to say.
That's true. But when you like growing as an artist, like if you're just an artist that's like just growing.
Yeah.
It's not always the best thing to slap them with everything at once. You could do that when you're just starting. And then for me too, because I didn't even know how to make this type of music. I never even used to listen to this type of music, bro. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was like this acceptance of, okay, you are going to learn how to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Because it happened so fast. It was like 3 months. 1 minute I was making rap music and the next minute I was in Germany performing this type of music. So it happened so fast. So like, I don't know. I feel like what I realized too, because I was still dropping the rap after I came back, and I realized the people that looking for that type of music, they hungry. So, because I have nothing out. So I need to perfect this and make this, give this everything that I have as an artist and find my place to where my heart connects to this type of music. You know what I mean? And now I feel like I've gotten there. So I'm really, really excited about the tape. because I was never a singer. So it's
Do
like...
you really have to be a singer to... Yeah,
No,
I don't feel like you have to be a excellent singer, like a blower, like you could hit all our different octaves.
Yeah.
And, you know.
You could do that.
I
but
think if
not
you
a
could harmonize... because like when you came in, I was playing Travis Scott. And some people say they don't like Utopia because it ain't like Astro World, but he was harmonizing through certain breaks. But he ain't no singer, but it's like, again, vibe.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Like, you know.
I wasn't like, not really so much a singer, you know, because I ain't really a singer now.
But you could be a
I be
viber.
hitting notes now.
Yeah.
But it's just if you pull up my stuff from the topics
Yeah.
to straight, just the energy is completely like the rap. You have to remember the time I was on with that rap music. It was like beast mode type of energy. So it's a different... Connecting to music as an artist isn't just about like, you know, going and making the music. It's also about finding that vibe within yourself. Because people always say I cuss too much and I get my music from before. It's still hard as fuck.
Man.
You see what I'm saying? But it's a different type of energy I had to tap into. It's like, even with this type of music, I found a different part of myself, like femininity, sex appeal, stuff like that. The stuff before I know is gangsta shit. So like, it's a totally different vibe. Like you say, it's a vibe. Not really so much, you know. It's a softer side to me. So the Princess of the Islands, that's why like I call it a sound. It's so much like it's a sound that kind of like just come out of me.
What was the reception like when you performed overseas, like in Germany and things like that?
It was crazy, bro. Like goddamn, people were singing the song.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was crazy. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. Like people was like, it's like this big crowd and people.
How like was the
singing
crowd
it.
at like 5,000, 10,000?
I think in Germany it was about. It's probably about like, I think he had told me it was like 15.
15,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. And then there was one in Sweden that was like probably about like 4,000. But the one in Germany really catch me in Cologne. That was crazy because when I came out, like people was jamming the song because the song had like skyrocketed. And when people on that side of the world, they just be looking for this type of music, just like we be over here looking for rap. So when the songs drop, they hearing it. And I see in the numbers, and even though I can't see the support like directly in front of me, it's people out there that like actively listening to me. So
no, but I think that's why I say back to the travel thing, right? Because I realized this when I went to some conventions in the past couple of months. It's like you feel like at home, you ain't seeing what you're seeing until you touch the road, and you're like, oh, what I doing in my little bubble affecting out there like exactly how I wanted to, but I don't feel it directly until I take that trip. And then you see, okay, yeah, I'm on the right course. Okay, I need to pivot like this. So
because people is ignore success down here with artists. I feel like artists don't get there.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. In every place, it's like, especially in the Bahamas, it's like you got to blow away from here first. And then.
But even if you do that, because you have a lot of artists, like I feel like you have a lot of artists who making waves in the industry. And the Bahamas is talking about this whole green economy and stuff
orange
like
economy,
orange. Yeah, sorry. My bad. Anyway, so there's the orange economy. So I just feel like it should be in your interest to do your research on the artists that are hitting the numbers, like because that is what economically benefits the country. Indeed. You find the people that are hitting the numbers and you back where the real work was put in. And that's not to like really knock anybody. I just feel like the culture of music would be respected more in the Bahamas. Like people wouldn't be all like, you know, I do music on the side. Like, you know, people, one time I walked up to this guy, he was like, yeah, he's a little artist too. I was like, bro, don't call yourself no little artist. What you mean? Like, he's a big artist. What you mean? You know what I mean? Just the culture of the way we think when it comes to certain things.
But that's why I feel like you broke the stigma on how to do it. Because it's like, exactly how you did it is how it's supposed to be done. Like, okay, I got a team. I have to invest. I got to look at it as a business. So, and I can't think small about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I need to pivot, just how you pivot from rap to the international genre.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this making more sense. Yeah, I might like this, but if this going right now, we got to milk this to get where we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just having that business mindset to where,
I'm sorry.
No, you good.
You can hear that on the camera.
I can hear it. That's straight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh? If
No,
make
you
noise,
good.
tell me what.
No, you get it. Yeah.
That's so it's not like crackling.
I hear it's fine.
Okay.
It's a fun.
Cool.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure it was okay. It's true.
Yeah.
Then I can't use it or something.
No. Like, listen, I've told you, like, it's been a bunch of times where I've jumped from the roof and this happened. It's just the chaos that makes this thing. But that's why I created a platform like Erryting Kool and the Original People Network, is to highlight this, because there's so much information that the general Bahamian public don't know, to where you have people of the soil doing major things overseas and no one knows about it. No one can't understand it. I could list off tons of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've interviewed them before and they're doing all kinds of things. I have like comic books from a Bahamian that's right inside there. What he's selling off of Amazon, I order it and it's like, yeah, like the Mara should get hyped for this thing.
Wow.
I know it, so it's my duty to put it out there and make people aware. So, same thing what you're doing. You're doing big shows in Germany, but it's like these things are so inconceivable by the average mind. They don't know how. But I can recognize, okay, she did this, she doing this, this what you need to do. And that's how you, and then when you start traveling and start taking it serious and looking at it as a business, building a network and building connections, that's how you can blow, or at least get some moderate success.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next for you, Dia? What's besides the project EP? Are you gonna go on tour soon? Maybe some label signings or some record deal, maybe from an indie situation? Or you can't talk about that right now?
That I can't talk about right now, but okay. I can talk about the Princess of the Islands.
Okay, so when is dropping that?
It's dropping the end of September. And we are planning a tour. We haven't decided whether it's going to be winter or summer, because the tape is coming out at the end of September. So we'll see how.
In the fall season.
Yeah, it's the fall season. So yeah, the tape is coming out. It has big hits on it. I'm super, super excited about it. Mash Roach is dropping in 2 weeks. It is a track with myself and Busy Signal. We actually shot the official video in Rawson Square. The whole tourist vibe, John Canoe. It's crazy. So it could be dropping in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Very excited.
2 weeks of this recording. I know when I can put this out, but it should be out by the time this drop.
Dude. It should be out. So go stream it everywhere. Yeah.
But thank you again for, joining us. Even though, it took a while, but, we make it happen regardless. But, I wish you the best and more success. And, hopefully, probably within a year, we come back and sort of reconvene this conversation into how everything else is doing and how, the touring and every other situation. Because I always wish the best for most Bahamian artists. And I support Bahamian artists as being, Bahamian artists, not necessarily I'm musical, but I understand that grind and, everybody used to this traditional way of getting things. And when you start doing things that they never could imagine, they can't figure it out, because it's like you close to someone doing something so spectacular, you feel like that's so out of reach, but you sure and show them that this is attainable. You just got to do X, Y, and Z. And especially with the internet making everything, being a big equalizer of that, it's just, you just got to do it, But I thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a good one.
It has.
And with that, we can see y'all later next time on Erryting Kool, Road to 100. And we out. Yeah, you see.
That was lit.